Welcome to the CV Warrior podcast, where we dive deep into the lives and experiences of true warriors, those who face challenges head on, embody resilience, and inspire others with their journey. I'm Max. Today we're honoured to have Micah Matibiri with us, Reading's very own Zimbabwean warrior. Micah will be looking to build on his debut win when he makes his 6th amateur MMA appearance later this year. Matibiri, who's currently competing in the lightweight division, began his journey as an amateur fighter when he stopped Michon Monga in the first round via TKO back in June of 2023. The Brit of Zimbabwean heritage is now residing and fights out of Fearless MMA gym in Birmingham. So far, 2024 has already been a year to remember for the Reading native, who's very keen to advance while working towards adding his name to the annals of the UK MMA scene. Welcome, Micah.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me, Max.
Right, to kick things off, let's go back to the beginning. Can you share with us where you grew up and what your early life was like?
I grew up kind of up and down, you know, like I was traveling quite a lot coming up, so I didn't stay in a specific area for one period of time. I was always here or there, but it was mainly in between here and Zimbabwe.
Okay.
So like I came up very cultured, like I was around the family back home a lot. I grew up in the UK quite a lot, so I feel like I got two different, you know, upbringings, if that makes sense.
Fair enough, yeah. Do you still travel out to Zimbabwe?
Yeah, all the time, man.
Yeah, fantastic. Here's a few questions then. What cultural experiences or influences during your childhood shaped who you are today?
That's a good one, man. Like, I think being around my family back home in Zim, seeing the differences between being in the UK, like, it wasn't like you were underprivileged back home, but it was just a very quiet native tribal kind of upbringing when I was back home in Zimbabwe. Like everyone's very much family oriented. We're around the village a lot more. Everyone likes to come together. We do things a lot more natural type. So even something as simple as cooking food, we wouldn't use the stove. You know, they could, you know, would actually kill an animal. This wasn't something they did day to day, but we'd have periods where we just go out there. And it's nice just to remember where we came from. So we'd stay in the village house. I helped kill a goat once, which is pretty cool. Yeah, but yeah, we stay in the village house, just cook food naturally, just to remember where we come from, you know. Because we did have like normal housing. Everything's pretty much the same as the UK, but we just like to have that period where we do that. So I feel like coming up that way was something that quite shaped me.
Okay, cool. Were there any pivotal moments or mentors in your early years that guided you towards the MMA path you're on now?
I wouldn't say guided me. Like, they put me on a path. I didn't know I was going to reach this path, obviously, but it just kind of came about. Mentors, I'd say my grandfather was someone I looked up to, both of them. The one on my dad's side, he passed away, but he was a hard-working man. He believed, like, you work hard for something, you're going to get it. Same as my grandfather now, Abbas. He just worked.
Okay, so the ethic has been ingrained.
It's been ingrained in me, essentially. Yeah, spot on. So
fantastic.
He's a crazy man. Like, he's fearless. He had a fearless mentality as well. Like, I must have been 10, and we were walking around. We were in a game park range because he had a house at a game park range for a guy he worked for. And I'm walking towards the reception. I swear to God, a cobra came at me. Like an actual cobra, ran the other way. I told him, there's a cobra there. He said, why are you running? I said, there's a cobra. He said, why didn't you tell me sooner? As in he was going to fight the cobra. Like, I thought, there's no way this guy's serious. He ran towards the cobra. He grabbed like a carpet mat, welcome mat. He chucked it on top of it and stomped it. Okay. Like, that's how he killed it. And in my head, I was like, that's like inhuman for me. But for him, it was like instinct to just go, you know. He saw something that was dangerous and he said, I'm going to take it out.
Right. Cool. Did the younger Micah have any fears of combat?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I was like, not fear, because I watched those of superheroes and stuff, so I thought, yeah, Iron Man's cool. But actually fighting, I was like, yo, stuff hurts, man. Like, getting punched hurts. It's not great. But yeah, I guess over time, I kind of built out of my shell a bit. But yeah, I think I even had a period where I was like, I'm a pacifist. I don't hit people.
Right.
I just tell that to people at school. Yeah.
I think everyone's been through that
Yeah.
at one stage or another. Yeah. And do you have any memories of like what Micah dreamt of being when he grew up?
You know, I just liked having fun. I just knew I didn't want to work 9 to 5.
No,
Like, I've known that since the beginning of time. I was like, I just don't like jobs.
I think that's the most honest thing anyone.
Yeah, like,
it's so true, isn't it? I
this
don't
is
want
true,
to do
man.
a 9 to 5. Yeah, I mean, it's great.
But
So your journey so far has been really, really good. So let's dive into a bit of that. What were your main motivations to pursue a career in MMA?
motivations came up later on. I had influences that kind of led me towards it. Like my best friend now, Kyle, he was a fighter. He trained, and I met him in school when I, funny enough, came back from Zimbabwe again, just to finish school this side. He showed me, like, he took me to a gym. I started training then. I was like, oh, this is cool. It's just boxing, but we just box randomly. And I guess I started seeing different people like Conor McGregor's and stuff. Those guys are the what. I saw how much it could change their lives. And I saw the life my family had. Like, I saw how hard they worked to put me in a position where even if I didn't work a job, I could just be unemployed and I'd be so taken care of. And I said, I want to be able to do something where for the future of my family, future generations, we can be set for life, you know? Like, I just wanted to have that change because they've worked so hard to put me in such a nice position. I was like, it's only right I go one above that, you know, instead of going backwards. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think there was any defining moments in your amateur career that tested your resolve? So did you get kind of like a bit antsy about where you were, what you were doing, and think, well, is this really for me?
I think I've had that every fight with every single situation. Like before a fight, the debut was nerves, but I'd worked so hard, and it was a long time coming. Like I was meant to make my debut in March, it got pushed back to June. So when it came, it was like I'd been training that whole time.
Right.
So it was very much a long time coming. But I'd say my second fight was something that really tested me because I feel like, honestly admitting it, I hadn't trained as hard because I had a holiday planned in between that period. So the second fight was meant to be on July the 8th. I go away every year with my friend Nathan. We go away from the 23rd and we do like a birthday holiday thing. So I'd come back from that holiday and I was like, damn. You know, I thought like 5 days wouldn't be too bad, but it was like it had a mental, not just like a physical, because I'd still been training, but it was more like a physical toll on me, mental toll, to say, are you as prepared? So when I got in there, I felt way more drained. But it was something I had to push through. You know, like in the cage, after the first round, I said, you know, this is the point where I have to prove, you know, it's not just talk. I have to go in there and prove myself.
Cool. This is a bit of a bigger question, but what's the biggest life challenge that you've faced so far, and what did you do to overcome it?
Biggest life challenge, I guess. I've had all sorts of different challenges, man. So I wouldn't say there's one specific one that like deterred me or anything like stopped me from being able to live a good life. Like I'd say maybe the family issues I had coming up. Like my parents are separated now, but I guess my dad, like, he wasn't like bad abusive, like not towards me or my sister or anything. Like he just had a lot of disputes with my mom, and so like coming up, that it did have an effect on me, you know. Like,
and you were around what age then?
Since as long as I could remember, it was something I was seeing. Like, it wasn't something I'd see almost every day. So I guess that was something I had to just, you know, get over, live with. And it's not a nice thing. It's not a regular thing that should be happening. But it was life, you know. It happened, and I had to get through that.
Yeah, just everyday life.
Just everyday life.
Just every day's a challenge.
Every day's a challenge for everyone. Like, we all go through different things. I've not had anything crazy where it's been like, you know, some people don't have
car accidents.
Yeah, no car accidents. Like
hospital stays for not fighting.
For not fighting. Like I've had there was a car accident I was in as well as a kid, but I came out of it scrapeless.
Right.
Like I was in a bus filled with kids. We were coming from a swimming trip. Car rammed into us. the bus toppled over, spun 3 times, and I completely came out scrapeless. Like, to this day. My sister's got a few scars because she was in the bus as well.
Really?
Yeah.
So other people did get, and you were just...
Yeah, I felt... I was grateful at the same time, but I was like, this is, you know, God, that's what told me God's really real, you know?
Yeah. So the journey of a fight is extremely demanding. I'm guessing this is kind of a repeat of another question, but trying to get you to answer a different way. But,
yeah.
Has there been a time where you felt like giving up?
Yeah. There's always times where I feel like giving up. For a fighter, I think that's the stuff that gets you to become a fighter. That's what being a fighter is about, not giving up. You know?
Just venturing through.
Just venturing through it. So every time I step into the gym, I do a training exercise, you think mentally, do I want to do this? I think it's an everyday thing. I think most fighters would agree. Like, yeah, you love going into the gym. You're passionate about what you do, but when it comes to, like, sparring, another guy's there hitting you, you know? You're thinking, he just punched me in the face and I'm dizzy, I can't see. I should probably just give up right now. Because you could stop and then he's going to stop hitting you.
I'm not even being paid for this.
You know, you can get paid for it, exactly. Even my fights, I don't get really paid because I'm amateur level. But, yeah, I think everything you do as a fighter, but it's just the training, day-to-day, you want to give up. Traveling to training, so people, you know, you'd want to give up.
How close are you
early.
to your gym?
My gym's, because I live just outside Birmingham, so my gym, it takes me about half an hour to get there every day. That's with the car.
Do you start off with a run then to the gym? No.
No, you see, that's another thing. Running is like, do I want to run? Do you want to do these runs every day? You know, it's freezing cold or boiling hot, you know. That's another thing where you're like,
Okay, so every warrior's journey filled with valuable lessons. What are some of the most valuable lessons you've learned on your journey? And if you could offer advice to any other aspiring fighters, what would that be?
It seems very cliche, but it's a very, very easy one, and it's train hard, fight easy. Like one of my coaches told me that, Coach Joshua Brew, shout out to him, and it's such a simple phrase, but it means everything. Like, if you can get everything out of the way now, the fight becomes so much easier, man. And it's less of a toll. And that's just not just a fight in the cage, but all your life's fight struggles. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that. And it's like, I was at uni a year ago, and one of the tutors there turned around and said to me, Max, learn the rules, because then you know how you can break them.
Yeah,
so it's like
100%.
So you've got to know what you're doing before you can
get to do it. 100%, man.
Or break the rules. Yeah.
Rebels.
How do you handle training or competition setbacks? So I'm guessing from your answer previously, where your fight was meant to be in March but it ended up in June.
Yeah.
And you basically answered that question. You're just going through saying you carried on training, and that's why you were at the peak when you actually came along, and you got a TKO on that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
I mean, I guess you still do. There's loads of setbacks. I think to handle a setback as a fight, you just got to reset. Mentally, just don't let it get you down. Just trigger, just brush it off. It's hard to brush it off, but you got to find things that help you get your mind central again. So whether that's like listening to music, or going relaxing, even if it's like just going on a cheat meal, go grab a McFlurry or something, man. You know, like, get over it. It happens. Like, last year I had about 5 fight cancellations. So realistically, I could have been double the fights I have now, possibly making like pro money now, possibly fighting as a pro.
And what are the reasons they're cancelled?
It could be anything, man. Some people just don't want to fight. Some people, you know,
and is that because of like a reputation of the opponent, or? Yeah,
sometimes it's that fear. I guess anyone can have a reason. Like, I don't want to make it sound like they're wusses, but you know, everyone's got their reasons, and especially at amateur level, they're not losing money, so they don't lose anything from
cancelling.
Yeah, from pulling out, they don't lose anything. So
okay, I mean, if you've got a fight lined up, do you have video on the fighter?
Yeah.
So you're actually looking at this kind of thing.
So we study, like, that's the worst part as well when it gets cancelled, because if they've got video, you've studied them intensely, like, you know what you want to do to execute your game plan, and then you've trained, because you got to pay the coaches. I've got to pay the coaches as well, do like my conditioning and stuff, pay to train at the gym every other day, pay for transport, like getting to and from the gym.
Yeah.
It's paying for that. So all of it adds up, and it's normally like a 2, maybe 3 month period if you're starting fresh for a fight. Like that's a fight camp.
Okay, so you're at Fearless in Birmingham. Do they have like the complete setup, whereas they've got people running around the country filming fights, securing talent for the gym, etc.?
No, they don't do it in that kind of process. Like most fighters actually come looking for Fearless. It's one of those things. Like they have started doing a lot more media now to help build up the fighters that are there, but Fearless is quite a compact gym. It only started getting a lot more reputation because of the fighters like Jake and Leon, the UFC fighters getting recognition. Right. So people beforehand started knowing the gym, they started doing research on it, started looking into it more. But really, Fearless is like a tight-knit family, and they train very like closed off. Like if you don't want to be a fighter, you don't have to train. But if you want to be a fighter, you've got to show up. And it's like a small group that we keep to ourselves. That way the work ethic is strong. Because if you've got some people that are only half in, half out, it's going to affect everyone that's there. Yeah. You know? So I feel this is kind of one of those gyms where they keep to themselves.
No, so going away from the violence part of the CV culture, do you have a second passion outside of MMA or fighting in general?
Yeah, like it's a passion. Like, okay, I'm not trying to say I would have been the greatest in the world, but I definitely feel like I could have gone pro at football. You know, like I feel like if I just, stuck here, moved to Manchester, got a few trials, Man United would be winning the league right now because of me. You know,
how old are you again?
Guarantee. I'm 21.
21. To be fair, they've won the league for younger, haven't they?
Yeah.
So exactly. I can't argue with that.
It's been a while, man. It's been a while.
Okay, so your mindset has undoubtedly played a crucial role in your success. How do you define a warrior mindset?
Yeah, it's an easy one for me. Like warrior mindset's a never say die attitude. You know, like.
Always
warriors,
forward.
Yeah, always forward. Because warriors, in my head, you think of warriors, you think of like samurais, those type of fighters. You know, like they never say die. They go onto the battlefield ready to die. Like it's kind of ingrained in their culture. So that's for me, never say die attitude. You got to go through whatever's put in front of you. You know. Are
there any daily habits or routines that you practice to maintain that?
It's prayer. It's very simple. Like my family came up with faith. So for me, it's something as simple as just praying, even if it's for like a minute, praying every day. Like it's very much shaped me up well, and I feel like God really does look out for me. I feel like if you have something like that, well, it doesn't have to be faith, because I know some people don't believe in faith, but it's just, I find it really positive for me. That's the thing that gets me going and says, no matter what I've got coming today, I'm gonna be fine. That's my routine.
Fantastic. Yeah. Can you remember the last fight you had that wasn't classed as skilled combat?
Yeah. Like it was a playground fight. Just
how old would you have been?
I must have been 12. You're 12 around year 7, right?
I don't even know what year 7 is. That's how bad this situation is. I was in like year. I don't even know what was secondary school or middle school?
Yeah, so it was secondary school.
How old were you? 12?
Yeah, about 12.
So that'd be just 11, going 12. In, I guess. Well, that's why I went.
I still have
the age
voice.
Difference is killing this, isn't it?
This is how you know it was bad. I could sing. That's how much younger I was, because I could sing. Like, my balls ain't dropped. So, like, I could hit those high pitch. I could do the Michael Jackson. I could do all of that. So,
what happened in the fight? One hit down? Or was it like a scuffle?
I think, was it a scuffle? You know how we said earlier, like, I come up being a bit like, I don't like fighting on worse. I think this guy was really annoying, man. I remember everything about it. He had this weird comb over, slick hair, and he thought he was the funniest guy on planet Earth. If he stood next to Kevin Hart, he would have thought he could beat him. Right. Like a stand-up comedy, I swear. So he just talk all the time, but he was one of those guys that just makes jokes, making fun of people. And I think one day I just told him to shut up. And he was like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? You gonna fight me?" I said, "Yeah, I will." Because he'd always say that. Like, he'd always say to people, "Oh, you're gonna fight me?" And he said, "Yeah, I will." And he was like, "Bet." So in my head, I'm like, "Oh, shit. Oh, what have I just done?" Like, I said, "Yeah." It must have been the second lunchtime. Went to the playground. everyone started circling. It's like, Mike, you gonna fight? Yeah. I was like, yeah, I guess. Started circling off. And I think he was quite hesitant to fight too. Like, it was one of those things. He talked himself up. Now he was in the situation. And I was there too. But I guess in that moment, I was just like, I'm not gonna back down. You know, I said it. I'm nervous as hell, but I liked the feeling afterwards. Like, the fight started. It's just swinging punches. It wasn't like the most crazy thing. I just got him in a headlock and threw a bunch of like rabbit punches. But it was afterwards, like, we swung at each other a bit. I had some blood coming out from my tooth, but everyone was really hyped. Like, obviously, I don't condone fight. Don't fight in school. It's not good. But I wouldn't say like it's not good to fight in school. But like, it was really cool. I felt like a gladiator. You know, it's a movie. It is Gladiator. Said, are you not entertained? I was like, yeah, bro. That's what I've done for you guys. That's it, yeah. I fought for you guys to shut them up. You know.
I can tell that in my last fight, I wasn't even a fight. I was 7 years old. So you're talking, 45 years ago. Some guy had a go. I punched him. He went down. I walked away. And I was 7 years old. And that was it. That's the last time in my memory that
You would have had a great fight career, man. You should have stuck to it.
One right. Okay, let's go.
Right, look.
So we'll move on to the bit which your journey has not only impacted your life, but also those around you.
Yeah.
How do you hope to impact others through your career? We've covered the family, looking after future family and current family.
Yeah.
What about your I don't know, what did Tyson call them? Or Tyson's was hangers on. Do you think that you'll keep people like that away? Will you have your set people and they're it through your career?
Oh, you mean like for me, like as the people around me?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I always have like a small group around me. Like, my circle's quite small. Like, friends wise, I could probably list my actual friends on one hand. Right. Like, the guys that I could see on a day-to-day, or the guys that I'll look to if I have an actual problem and just say, I'm gonna sit and talk to you about this because this is going on. For like those problems, I don't have too many friends in a crazy amount of way. But those guys,
well, I guess you're busy anyway, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a bit occupied.
Yeah,
but I definitely want to take care of them. Some of them are fighters too, so it helps being around each other.
Yeah, because it's positivity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if I'm winning, they're winning. That's the mindset I have. I want to make sure everyone around me is winning. I want to bring people up with me because that's only gonna help. Like, there's so much in this world, like resource wise. I know, like, it's sad to see that some people are broke on the streets and stuff, but the world is so open, man. There's literally no reason why everyone here, and even in the city, can't be winning. You know, if you want to get a Lamborghini, we should all have Lamborghinis.
We should all have
Lamborghinis. So totally. I don't see why we can't all be winning.
So take it forward. Let's say, what do you reckon the lifetime of a fighter is?
The lifetime.
What do you reckon when you retire?
I'd say
realistically, rather than
a realistic
Conor McGregor
one would be
kind of style. 36?
35, 36.
Yeah, okay.
Depending on, like,
if you get to 35, 36, fighting continually, being successful, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? It's going a bit forward now.
Yeah, but this is good. Because I never thought too much about legacy, but that's something I guess all great fighters have a legacy, you know. Like, in my head, I was never like, I'm gonna be a legend at the start. But I guess that comes later on. Like, even now, I'll walk into the gym, because the pros train separately, but if I walk into the gym on a normal day, people come up to me, bro, your fight was so good. And I'm like, this kid knows me. I've never seen him in my life, but it's so cool. Like, he thinks so highly of me, and I'm not even a pro.
Yeah.
You know? So for me, I guess I just want to be remembered as one of the greats.
And is there a set number of fights to go pro?
No, I could go pro now if I wanted to, but I think it's just the preparation, because nowadays the sport is young, but people they know how to treat sports now, because we had this with football, boxing, basketball, all of that. They've had the development period.
Yeah.
Fighting's development period is still now. But
right.
People want to be really good at it so that when you do go into pro, you make the most money. You're looked at as one of the best real quick.
Because boxing is in the Olympics now.
Yeah.
Do you think MMA will join the Olympics?
I think eventually, yeah. Like,
because that's a great springboard, isn't it? If you look in boxing, I mean, Anthony Joshua, I mean, they've all come up through the amateur and then Olympics and then gone pro when they've shown what they can do, basically.
No, exactly. It's funny you mention it as well, because I'm actually meant to compete in the IMAF. Well, I'm looking to compete in there, which is the Olympic equivalent for MMA. Because in England, it's not governed. Like, the government doesn't support MMA. So that's why we don't have, like, an Olympic. It's not as an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
But that version of it for us is the IMAFs. So they do world championships, European championships, and the past fight I had was like a qualifier event for it.
Okay.
And I won. So that's what I'm looking. That's where I've got my sights set towards now. I just need to keep.
And do you have to fight any more for that?
England.
Or is that?
It's just I just need to train with the team now. Just make sure I'm ready so that they can make their picks. But I think, like, not trying to be arrogant. I think I'm going to the World Championships. I'm speaking it into existence. So it's gonna be on November.
Oh, this year.
November 2nd. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Have you got how many fights have you got lined up?
I'm fighting September the 7th. I should definitely be fighting October 5th, and that should get me prepped well enough. And then November the 2nd, I'm gonna go off.
And where's that located?
It's gonna be in Uzbekistan, which is I don't actually know where it is.
Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I heard it's
like
the other side, like a few hours away, like 5-6.
Yeah. No fair.
Yeah, they're tough guys over there as well. Like World Championships is serious. You get a lot of guys that come up only fighting because, especially that side of the world, fighting is a real big thing for them.
Do you view yourself as simply a fighter, or do you feel you're an MMA mentor who is able to use his platform to inspire the next generation of warriors?
And obviously, I've always seen myself as just like a regular guy because there's nothing different from you, me, anyone else around. But
apart from you're trained to do a specific thing.
Yeah, exactly. Just sport. But by default, I guess I've sort of become a mentor, especially what I'm aspiring to do. Whether I like it or not, I'm a mentor.
So do you have younger kids within Fearless unit?
Yeah, Fearless is real big on the kids. They train a lot of kids, and they're real good. They're killers, man. Right. But they're having fun. Some of them just do it for fun.
How long have you been training for?
About 2-3 years.
So from about 18?
For MMA, yeah. For MMA, because I started off I was 16 when I started, like, training a bit of fighting. But it was just literally backyard boxing and just random sparring. So that's when my best friend was getting me into it. And then COVID hit, so there was that whole period where I couldn't actually do anything. But as soon as that was done, that's when I was like, you know what? I want to find a gym. This is what I want to do forever. Fantastic. I can't just be, stuck in a house.
Cool. So we've got here, what achievement would you like to accomplish within the next 3 years? And I'm aware that you're looking to go pro in 2025.
Yeah.
So, within the next 3, which would take us through to 2020, let's say 2028, going pro in 2025, and then up to 2028, what do you think?
It's a big one.
I mean, you're talking, how many fights do you reckon you take when you're pro in a year?
It's about, if you get lucky, maybe 3-4.
Okay,
around
so
that.
that's...
But it depends what promotion you're with too. So I'd say I'm gonna be real ambitious here, man. I'm saying I'd want a championship. I'd want a world title.
Or at least one.
So at least one lower level world title.
How many
and a
world
UFC title.
Are there?
So there's different promotions have world titles. So it's like different weight classes.
Okay.
So I fight in like featherweight and lightweight. So I could fight for any of those titles. But I'd prefer to go featherweight because some lightweights are like 6'4". I'm 5'10" on a good day. So I'd say within 3 years I want a world title, man. At least,
With your current positive trajectory, are you keen to become the first warrior to put the sport of MMA on the map for Zimbabwe?
100%, man. It would be so big. Like, MMA is not looked at as something that's crazy, important. Especially in Zim, like, sports are big, but there's nothing that's really put Zim on that block. Like, there's a fighter in the UFC now from Zimbabwe, Temba, but he's not, like, really put Zim on the map. That makes sense. Like, he's representing for Zim, but it's not big enough to the impact. Like, the impact I want to leave for Zim, and he's a lot older as well. Like, he comes to the UFC late. I still think he'll do great things as a fighter, but I think for me now, the advantage I've got is just time. Time's on my side. So I've just got to make the most of it. I've got more time to build for that country. Like, I'll put it on the map, and then I could also make it something big. If I have enough money, I could even build a gym there, start, making sure Zim has an actual team to do MMA. The same way, like, England's building. The same way you said you want to get into the Olympics, Zim could look to do the Olympics because there's Olympic swimmers from Zim, all of that. So the sports are there. You can do the sports. Zim just doesn't look at it too much. So I want them to take notice of it. You know, MMA is there.
Okay, we're gonna switch it up a bit and do a rapid fire round. Book or movie that resonates with you?
A movie?
Book or movie? It doesn't have to be one of the
It could be a book.
It can be.
I'm gonna go with a movie. I'd say Man of Steel. It's like a Superman.
Okay, yeah. Superman movie. Yeah. One thing you can't live without?
Wagon wheels.
Wow.
Wagon wheels.
Didn't expect that answer.
Yo.
But there you go. Can't fault that at all.
Oh my god. It's my guilty pleasure.
Your favourite way to relax and unwind?
Oh. Music. Listening
What
to some
kind of
music. Just chill, lo-fi. I can mix it. My playlist is everything. You have Drake, then you have Sweet Caroline, and then you have a song that doesn't have any words, and then you go to some 80s song, like it's very, and then Michael Jackson.
Okay.
It's just very mixed, but any music I enjoy will help me relax,
Okay, so favorite music artist on your current playlist?
Oh, on my current play. I play a lot of random. I'll say Lil Baby because I walked out to him. I picked him as my walkout song. Right. That's why. So I say right now he's my favorite.
Cool. Ideal vacation location. That's a word, isn't it?
No. I want to go to Puerto Rico. I'd love to go to Puerto Rico. And they fight out there too, so it'd be a good culture.
Yeah.
So I can have holiday and still, train.
What's your go-to cheat meal?
I don't have a set one. You know what? I've always had a pizza. There's always going to be a pizza.
Yeah.
After most fights, I've had a pizza. So I'd say the pizza is the go-to cheat meal.
Toppings?
Chicken, barbecue base, mixing beef and anything, But as long as it's got a barbecue base and chicken, you can make it whatever. And my friend's dad actually owns a store. So that's why he's always got food ready for me as soon as I'm done fighting.
Fantastic. And heads or tails?
Heads. Because I always go for the head.
There you go. We got that out. Right, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. Before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts or advice for any of our listeners?
Advice? Just keep going. Whatever you want to do, just never give up, man. Like it's so cliche. You hear it. It
is cliche, but it's true. Works,
it's cliche, but it's, the reason it's so cliche is because it does work. Like people hear it all the time because it's true. No one's lying. Just don't give up. I think another thing is, for me, people say in life you gotta have a plan B, you gotta have a backup plan. I say why? Like, go for plan A, go for broke, because you'd rather live with no regrets. Like, the moment you start setting up for plan B, you've set yourself behind, because that means you don't believe in plan A.
No, I gotta agree with that.
Yeah.
I set a plan A.
Yeah, exactly.
I did set a plan A. I failed miserably at plan A. I didn't have a plan B, but I did it.
But you did it. That's the thing. Like, you can say you did it. Some people will say, I could have done this, but this and that. No, just why didn't you do it? If you didn't go well, then that's fine. But to say you did it is, you can live with that now, and you'll be fine living with that, knowing you tried at least. Right, thanks, Micah, for sharing your incredible journey and insights with us. And thanks for our listeners to tuning in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and the bell for notifications. Until next time, stay strong, keep embracing the inner warrior, and above all else, venture with honour.